So good morning, everyone, and thank you, Sam. I really enjoyed your presentation. A lot of good nuggets of information there. I think I saw some people in the chat saying that they were taking notes, and I was trying to take some notes as well as we were going along. For my portion, I want to talk a little bit about pandemic pedagogy, so kind of a seamless transition from what Sam was talking about, and share the story of my spring COVID story with my middle school team, and how not to panic when transitioning to online instruction. So a little bit about myself. So I'm the middle school ELA teacher at the Garden School of Technology Arts, located in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. We are the, I like to think of us as the little school that did and can. We have about 120 middle school students, and they are all wonderful kids, and they come from such a diverse background. And they are just, this spring, they just really amazed me with their resilience and their ability to pivot so quickly. So like most teachers over the summer, I started, diving into a lot of PD and trying to collect some badges based on things that I needed to know. I felt like I needed to brush up on as we head into the fall. So setting goals is certainly something that all of us, stress to our students. So I try to stress it for myself as well. So, that COVID-15 weight is a real thing, you guys. I don't know if anyone else has been feeling it, but I really need to, I feel like for myself, I need to make sure I take a break, go for a walk, get some exercise and things like that. If anyone happens, I'm just going to put it out in the universe, but since we are in this online module now, I've become such a Hamilton fan since Disney Plus rolled out Hamilton. And so I'm kind of put it out in the universe that maybe I can get Lin-Manuel Miranda to Zoom in with my class. So that's kind of my wish for this coming school year. So just in the chat, for those of us that are educators, on a scale of CAT, how are you feeling right now as we head into the fall? Just put it in the chat. So I know a lot of us are, on a various scale, depending on where we are in our reopening plans. Let's see here. A couple that are kind of middle of the road, 4, 5, 4, okay. 7, okay, good. Yeah, 7. All right, excellent, excellent. So keep putting those in. I think all of us have hit some point on this scale at some point in the last several months. And I don't know if you guys have felt this, but I feel like since March, I feel like 50 years has passed in a way. So I don't know if anyone else has felt that. So here's my COVID story. So my middle school team, there's 6 of us on this team. And leading up to that, we had been told, kind of prepare. Nothing was formal, but formalized in terms of decisions, but start preparing mentally for maybe getting shut down. So on March 13th, Friday the 13th, the day that will live in infamy for this COVID thing, before lunch, our team, we were just kind of like deer in headlights, like, what's happening? Are we shutting down? Are we not shutting down? Like, there was all this, like, all these rumors kind of floating around in the media. And then after lunch, like immediately right after lunch, was when the announcement came that we weren't opening on, or that we were going to be closing on Monday. So luckily, because our team is amazing and I work with some amazing people, we had the foresight to say, let's meet at lunch, let's come up with a plan. So in 30 minutes, we made our plan. It still boggles my mind how we did this, but in 30 minutes, we worked together, we pulled our strengths together, and we came up with a plan. We had no idea how it was going to be, but we were ready for it. And I didn't necessarily think of this at the time until after I read this book over the summer. I read Brene Brown's Dare to Lead, and there's a quote in there, I'm paraphrasing, but it says, have the courage to be both brave and afraid at the exact same time. And I feel that that's what we did. And as educators, that's kind of what we're in right now. And we have to have that courage to be both. So the logistics, here's what we did. So on Friday during lunch, we made our Zoom schedule. We made some adjustments and moved into a block schedule. So initially we focused just on our core classes. And then eventually after about a week, we did start rolling out our elective classes. But for the main shift, we focused on core classes. That Friday, we also sent correspondence home to parents. And then we polled our students
Okay,
to see what they needed in terms of accessibility. Now our school is, we're very fortunate that our school has made investments into technology. We're a tech-infused school. That's our mission, is to educate innovators for 21st century jobs. So we're actually a 2-to-1 device school. So we had students who maybe had siblings that they're sharing computers at home. We wanted to make sure that we knew who those students were that had those barriers that maybe needed their own. So we took that poll. On Sunday, we held a Zoom onboarding call for families just to test it out, make sure things were running smoothly, just to give them some peace of mind. We also started making arrangements with families that needed those extra Chromebooks. And then Monday, we were off to the races. We started classes, and then we were also starting to distribute those extra Chromebooks. And, you know, did it go perfectly? No, of course not. We had some bumps along the way, but here are some key takeaways that we learned from this experience. We all have to be honest with ourselves that online learning pedagogy and emergency learning online are two very different things. And I think that message really gets lost in the conversation that we see in the media and in the public and on social media. And I think, you know, there's a lot of parents out there that don't necessarily understand this difference, and they're basing their fall decisions, what they're going to do with their child, based on spring. And not everyone had the same opportunities to have access to technology and things like that. So we really need to be honest with ourselves and know the difference. Having daily live instruction for our school was monumental. It allowed the students to keep a routine, and with the world changing, I mean, the world literally turned upside down with just everything going, lots of barriers, lots of challenges that kids were facing at home. But having that daily place to go really helped, I think, in mental health and social emotional aspects. And it also allowed us, because as teachers, we're mandated reporters, and so allowed us to have that check-in with them to make sure that they were okay. Our school actually, we already, for the most part, use a flipped classroom model. And I think that was really essential in helping us make this pivot so quickly, because it really was a change in the delivery. We were still using the same tools. We didn't roll out anything new. It was just, hey, instead of me being in front of you, we're online. Giving students choices and using alternative assessment methods. So using a typical, 50-question final exam was not going to be as effective. Using choice boards, tic-tac-toe boards, different ways that they can deliver content based on what they wanted to do. So we had podcasts, we had final research papers, we had videos and movie trailers and different options like that. Creating office hours for them, and I wish this is something that I was able to do even before. I always tell you there's never enough time, but we created office hours using our Google calendars that students can sign up for. Maybe it was just an emotional check-in, they needed to talk, or they needed more one-on-one academic support. Really focusing on SEL and mental health, and doing activities that maybe weren't always academic related. I know one day I did a virtual scavenger hunt where I had the kids running all through their houses looking for a roll of toilet paper, because at the time that was a hot commodity. It really highlighted the importance of teamwork and communication. Having that cohesive team and communicating with each other really made the difference, and also having open lines of communication with families and students. One thing that I did with my middle school students, since I know a lot of them had cell phones, I utilized the Remind app. So if they were having trouble signing on Zoom, they could just send me a quick message and I would see it a lot faster than if I was checking email, because I'm not checking email in the middle of a Zoom call. Doing whatever it takes, and just having that attitude of doing whatever it takes to make it work. What do you need? And constantly checking in with them. And sometimes you got to read the room. If they're looking like they're stressed, just like as teachers, we could see, the second a kid crosses the threshold in our physical classrooms, we could tell if something's off. Same thing virtually, just trying to read the faces, read the room, take the virtual temperature, and making adjustments as you go along. And then finally, knowing that it's okay to be human. It's okay as teachers to make mistakes. And I think it actually normalized the situation. And there's that false positivity layer that kind of happens sometimes, and it doesn't acknowledge that, hey, we're in a pandemic, and even teachers sometimes need to take a minute and breathe and recollect themselves. So letting the kids know it's okay to be human, and teachers know it's okay to be human. So looking forward for fall, our plan is, we've made some adjustments to our plan. We're focusing more on trying to do things that reduce screen time, so the kids aren't on all day long. And so trying to balance it out with activities that are more traditional, like reading an actual book and doing journaling, lots of journaling, but trying to balance that out. And our school in particular has adopted a mantra as a way to move forward and to kind of keep focused that, we're all in this together. We're going to make it through. It's not ideal, but we're going to be okay.